Purtee. Evaluator number 2, Elizabeth Purtee.
Fellow members, guests, and most particularly Ron, I love this speech. I enjoy all of your speeches. They're always very fascinating, but this one is one of my favorites because it is so funny, and it is a subject that is near and dear to my heart too, because I have the same kind of experiences with the ants that eat all of my things as soon as they're showing up out of the dirt. So I totally get what you're saying. When you began here, first of all, taking place in front of the room, it was so great. I always, that always feels like you're really doing your best to connect with the audience, and I believe you do. I noticed your eye contact as you would sweep from here, noticing where we were sitting, as well as looking away and looking at your audience over here. I thought that was great. Your gestures were so much fun. I could see things. You actually painted pictures with your movement as far as doing all the shoveling and picking and rocks and just the different activities that you were doing. Your gestures were wonderful. Your humor, your phrases that you used. I had so much fun listening to some of these phrases, like how you waited and watered and waited, and you did more of that, and it was just clever and funny. And when you would say you came up with a new sport, parenting, and then describing all of the things that go into parenting, and I thought, yeah, that's a good comparison also to call it a sport, like so many other things. Your very beginning, I thought, was great, how you were talking to us about what things mean and how you can have different meanings for the same types of words. And that really prepared us for how you were going to take the meaning of gardening, what typically people figure out about gardening, and to actually turn it into a rock garden and give it an entirely different meaning than what most people would have expected of a garden. And yet it was such a clever use and a perfect use for those of us who aren't the best gardeners the traditional way. So I enjoyed that. As far as a recommendation, I noticed that when you were in the front, as I said, I loved your connection of being up in front. Sometimes your movements were not as purposeful, and it seemed a little bit like pacing. So I would just recommend that you stick to your purposeful gestures, because then they have more impact with all of us in your speech. Another thing is that I couldn't help but notice that you kind of came over here and kind of peeked over at some notes. So, I thought that may be telling us a little bit about, I know you know your message, so I was just thinking that maybe you needed to just refresh yourself or just prepare a little bit more so you wouldn't have had to peek at those notes. Otherwise, in conclusion, I just thought your humor was great. I would recommend that you just watch out on your pacing and the usage of notes, the humor, the phrases, all great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.